let's start with David and then we'll go with Myra. Tell us a little bit about what that's like. What was that like for you transitioning from living at home with your parents in high school to having lived on campus at the university?
At Oregon State, you are required to live on campus as a freshman. I had an interesting experience. My first roommate was foreign exchange from China. We did not communicate a lot, and his sleeping schedule, I don't think ever got adjusted. So he'd be up late and I'd be in bed and he'd be playing video games. But those first 2 terms with him were not the greatest. It was fun to learn about his culture a little bit, but it definitely gave me every reason to leave my dorm. And my spring term, my last term as a freshman in the dorms, I had my own dorm, and that was probably better than the first two. I enjoyed that much better.
I roomed with someone I knew from high school, but like she wasn't like my best friend. It was just somebody that I had in a couple of my classes. I was in one of the honor dorms, which I'm not an honor student, but like my roommate was. So it was really surprising that like I had like a really nice room. Like we had a walk-in closet and stuff. And our beds were in a whole different room than like our like living space. So that was really nice. We did have like kind of some issues just because my roommate got really comfortable having like her boyfriend over. And so he was over like all the time. So we did have to like have a lot of conversations about that. But it was a really good experience while I was there. And I'm definitely sad that I had to come home early.
Can you share a little bit about off campus or at home, or have lived off campus or at home with parents during college?
Since I live in Redmond, some of the college options I was looking at were like Portland State and Washington State, and then OSU Cascade, which I had not known a lot about at the time. I actually did not know that it was an actual college. I kind of thought it was just one of those. I did not know what it was. It just did not seem like a real college to me until it was explained to me a little bit more. And being able to get an Oregon State University accreditation, like degree from there, while still living at home, saving a little bit of money, was very appealing to me. And it's definitely been very interesting because I've always been someone who I think like Christina can vouch for me. Ever since I was like younger, I always loved to like stack myself up with projects to the point that I just can't anymore. And that has often led to like a decline in my mental health. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed, sometimes I'm stressed, sometimes I'm just like crying out of just sheer panic. And truly, having my family there just like to back me up and having them with me has helped me so much. Even just to the point that sometimes, like right now in midterms, my family has actually come downstairs at like 1 a.m. They're just like, get back upstairs. Okay, you're done. Like they take my laptop away from me. They're just like, you're fine. You're basically graduating with honors. Just chill and we can move on for the next day. Also, saving a lot of money on housing is awesome. I will say that. I never have to worry about I just have to worry about my tuition payment. But I've really enjoyed living with my family, especially because I'm such a family-oriented person. I love getting to spend the weekends with my younger brother and my sister. But it's something that I actually was considering moving away to Corvallis after a while, but just due to the job opportunities I was offered here, I decided to stay, and I haven't regretted my decision since.
Since I go to Chemeketa here in McMinnville, and then I take some class in Salem, I actually chose that to start off because, again, like definitely said, I saved a lot of money and stuff, and like housing and food and all that kind of stuff, and right now I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, I really enjoy being home because like she also said, I'm very family oriented, and like hard times I'd rather be home and in my own space and stuff than rather to be like in a college and stuff, like in a dorm. And I don't know, it's just a better place for me. But I really enjoy being able to like drive over to Mac and stuff and then be able to come home, you know, when I need my own.
Back to David. David, you shared that you moved out of your dorm and then you were in a different dorm. Are you currently living in dorms, or where are you currently living?
No, I live in a fraternity.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It's fun. I was definitely worried that I'd be very distracted and my academics would fall, but since I switched my majors, I've had good grades and everything's worked out. Privacy is definitely an issue. I wish I got more of that because in a dorm you don't get much privacy, and in a fraternity you don't get much privacy. So I can't wait to live out a fraternity, but it's worked out pretty fine. We keep it relatively clean, and it's actually not very expensive compared to Corvallis housing. I pay a total of 7,500 for the year, and I'm not paying rent during the summer, the 3 months, because most leases are a year lease. You have to pay during the summer, but I'm paying 7,500 for the year. I get food. You don't worry about paying bills. You have your own bed. You share a room with a roommate, and compared to a lot of leases in Corvallis, you're paying that just as rent, not including food or anything else. So it's quite relatively cheap, but I know other fraternities are cheaper. Ours is kind of higher compared to other houses because we're trying to renovate our house and make it look newer and nicer.
Edwin's an RA, so for those of you who don't know, that stands for resident assistant, which means he actually works in the dorms. Edwin, can you share a little bit about what that's like and why you chose to become an RA?
I didn't really think I was ever going to become an RA. I didn't like my RAs really, and it wasn't like what I thought I would be doing, especially in college. You know, I expected myself to live in the dorms for the first year, like you usually do, and then live out with my friends in an apartment the next year. But my RA, not my RA, but an RA in the same building, I ended up connecting with, and he ended up recommending me to become an RA because he thought I'd be really good at it. So because of that, I ended up taking the extra step to check it out, and it's honestly been a really good decision. Made a lot of friends through it. It's really fun too. For most places, I believe you get your room and board covered, so you wouldn't have to pay for your room. But it is at the same time a job, so you have to be able to balance a little bit of the schoolwork with it. But it's honestly not that bad, and yeah, I really have enjoyed it.
For those who might not know, can you describe a little bit what an RA does? Like, what is the job?
Yeah, so the RA is almost like the caretakers of whatever floor or building you're in. You'll probably have an RA dedicated to you, so you'll be assigned to them, and they'll often have one-on-ones to check in with you, help you get connected to whatever resources or help you might need, whether it's counseling, tutoring, anything like that. A lot of times too, the RAs do what are called like rounds, where we move around the building to make sure that, and police, just to make sure residents aren't doing anything illegal or against the policies of the university.